Good morning, and welcome back to the Saturday Morning Stoa. This is episode 8. Today's theme is going to be about discipline in the body and clarity in the mind. Now, before we jump into that, I did want to talk about last week's challenge. That was our 3 days of discipline plus our identity-based habits. Did we follow through on the discipline for the 3 days straight? And did we write down our non-negotiables and stick to them?
For me, not really. That I didn't do a very good job, but
No.
I did go through a lot of things like what do I have to do on a daily basis, most important things that I need to get done and things like that. So at least I'm aware of those things. But I don't know, I feel like I get I'm motivated to do something and then after a couple days just forget about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I gotta get on track and figure that out.
Do you write down these things?
Yeah, but it just hasn't been habitualized into a routine.
Yeah. One thing I could say for that is, have you identified that as to who you are moving forward? I think that would be a big one to help you talk about identity-based habits. Is that who you are as far as whatever non-negotiables you've identified for yourself? That would help with consistency for sure.
Yeah, I just gotta remind myself more often because like when I forget about these things, I just go back into my old routine.
Okay.
But then when I'm thinking clearly and I look at these things, yeah, this is the kind of person I want to be and act like that now. So it's just like a reminder thing.
Yeah. And that comes with time, right? Like, again, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for consistency. And it takes time, especially when you're trying to adjust yourself to becoming a different person. We're so ingrained in who we are in the past. It's so easy to fall back into those. It's hard to move forward. It really is, unless you have the systems in place and that mental fortitude to be like, yes, I'm going to put myself in this discomfort for quite a while in order for me to get rid of that pre-programming I've had in the past to then program myself into that new person. So it takes time, but I think the best thing to do is go easy on yourself, right? You're making changes, you're moving forward, you're making progress, whether it's slow or fast, you're still making progress. So it's always key to just remember that stuff as well.
You know,
Yeah. Okay. All right. For the next clip here, I want to start off with a quote from Epictetus. He says here, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." So what do you think that means?
if I think I know everything about working out, I'm not gonna bother tolerating or absorbing or looking for new information, and I just reject it.
Yeah.
I would reject it. So I think it's yeah, something I've actually watched a seminar last week and the host talked about that too. And I think it was really interesting because we've been programmed basically to not be tolerant of new information. If that information is not in line with our beliefs,
Yeah.
whether our beliefs are true or false, doesn't matter. We reject it without even thinking. I don't even want to hear it. I don't believe it. I'm not going to even think about it. It's not in line with what I think. So get away from me. And not only that, but we have been trained now as a human race to not only just not even tolerate, but also to attack people who give us information that's not in line with our views.
Big time.
So if you said, Tristan, bro, you need to do this, I'd be like, no, Cody, you are anti something, or you
Yeah.
are a word that ends with ist, racist, or whatever it
Yes.
is, right? And so it's like even worse than, I don't know. So next step is going to be imprisoning people based on trying to give people.
Based on your opinion. No, I think that you're spot on there. For me, it's like I've always tried to keep them in keeping student mindset in everything I do. I don't claim I know anything. And what that allows me to do is take on different pieces of information, advice. And if we're talking about just for physical fitness, I got into the habit of when I was younger. This is how you get strong. This is how you get big. And that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
You would get forced into, and then all of a sudden you're like, why am I not getting stronger? Why am I not getting bigger? I've done what I believe is the right way. I've done the research, but you forget that, hey, you know what? There's other ways to get there. And what I've tried to do now recently is, first of all, identify what me being fit means to me. What do I want out of me being physically fit? Do I want to be able to run a marathon? Do I want to be able to go to CrossFit games or just be able to move in this world freely without pain and be mobile? Once you identify what you want for your physical goals, it's a lot easier now to move forward. But also now you can take on different information where you're going, okay, try this because this person seems to be versed in how to run marathons. Okay, go through their training program and try those different things. But the important thing to keep in mind is whenever you're trying something, especially for your body, you need to give yourself a sufficient amount of time to actually do those things and judge if it's working for you or not. There's so much information on physical fitness. This is the only way to do it. So this is the only way to lose fat. This is the only way to build muscle. But there's multiple different ways for different people, depending on your body type, your ethnicity, whatever the case may be, your stress levels. So I always think if you're going to try different things in the physical aspect of your life, you need to A, keep an open mind, try things, and B, try it for a sufficient amount of time. People think, oh, I'm going to try it for a week. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to go back to doing whatever I did before. That we know that doesn't work either, right?
No.
You're talking like you need to give yourself at least a month of whatever that training was. If it's a certain way of training, a certain diet, a certain breath work before you work, or whatever the case is, whatever you want to try, you need to give it a sufficient amount of time and be mindful of that. Okay, for this month, I'm going to try doing lower weight but higher reps and judge how your workouts were, judge how you feel after your workouts, and then your overall after the month's done. What did I gain from that? Do I feel stronger? Do I look better? Whatever key metrics you're looking to base yourself on, you need to at least give it that month. I would say 30 days would be definitely minimum. And then for other people, like they're going through a weight loss journey, that's a lot longer of a time frame. Now, we don't have to worry about that, you and I, but there is a point where people need to lose weight and they think, oh, I'm going to do this crazy diet for 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and I should lose all the weight. And the fact of the matter is, if you're going through a weight loss journey, chances are it's because you've had habitual habits of poor eating, poor sleep, poor diet, whatever the case is, that got you to that point. And it's going to take pretty much the same amount of time, not necessarily, but for the most part, it's going to take you a long time to get down to that weight that you want to be at. And the biggest mistake, and I'm sure you're already aware of this, the biggest mistake with people going through a weight loss journey is they'll change their lifestyle for a certain amount of time to get that weight removed. And then right away they go, okay, hit my goal. I'm going to go back to doing what I did before and then all the way back. And that's where you get that yo-yo dieting back and forth. So it's really about the mindset shift and changing your lifestyle to accommodate your fitness goals or what you want to achieve with your fitness goals. Have you noticed that with your working out? Have you tried new things and started judging if they work or not?
Yeah, a few notes on that. One, when I was a lot younger and getting into it, this is back in like year 2000-ish. Yeah, like back then it was like muscle magazines, and us as a group of high school kids would look at them, and of course we didn't know at the time these guys are all taking tons of steroids and things. And when you're taking advice, whether it be from fitness or anywhere else, just keep in mind that these people could be taking lots of things that you're not taking. And they could be doing things that you're not willing to do. And so when you're taking advice from someone who's taking tons of steroids and you're not, you're probably not going to get similar results. Just keep that in mind. And then another thing is a marketing thing, which is everywhere you look, people say something like, this is not your problem. This is what's your problem. Or you don't need this, you need that. And these are just marketing gimmicks to make them look like they have authority or to make their thing look good. So it's not just health and fitness, but it could be through anything. If you're a business owner, online business owner, you might see someone say, hey, you don't need email marketing, you need a Facebook group, or you don't need a Facebook group, you need email marketing, or you don't need Facebook ads, you need your offers. The problem, it's not your offer, it's your message. So whenever you see these things, it's all manipulation just to get you to think that these people know what they're talking about. But there is no, you need this or don't need that, you need this. Your situation is very different, and someone who understands this stuff needs to look at it, whatever it is. And then another thing is, when you look at all these fitness gurus, this is also representative of every industry. Every fitness expert got there a different way. Some of these people are vegan, some of them are carnivore, some of them are lightweight, some of them are heavyweight, some of them are natural, some of them are not. And they all look good, right? And that's just proof that there is no one solution for everybody. No matter what the situation is, if you want to start a business or you want to learn math, like there's not one way to do it. There's tons of ways to do it. Just find the one that works for you.
No, absolutely. Said, man, the amount of supplements I bought because of those magazines.
Yeah, what a waste.
They definitely work. I remember vividly go through a muscle magazine I'd see. Ronnie Coleman, he's a famous builder.
The king.
He was selling these supplements, and if you buy these supplements, you're going to get all the veins and you're going to be just as big as Ronnie Coleman. I'm like, okay, I had to get these. I was underage. I asked my dad, hey, I want to get these supplements. Oh, he's like, why do you want these? I want to look like this guy. And he told me right there, you can't look like that. That guy is on gear. He's roided up, but it still worked on me. I want to look like that guy. And he's taking these things. So I must have to do that.
And it doesn't change even if you're grown up. There's tons of 40, 50-year-olds are like, yeah, I want a $10,000 a month business, or I want this body because this person has it. It doesn't mean that person got it the same way that you're trying to get it. There's so many factors involved, and it's all marketing. And there's nothing wrong with marketing. It's just the consumer is the one who's ignorant, and the consumer is the one to blame when you make these stupid decisions. So be sophisticated and don't blame the marketers.
Yeah, listen, they're doing their job and they're doing it well. This where critical thinking comes into play too. If you start developing that critical thinking, you can start seeing through these things. Oh yeah, that guy looks good in the magazine. He has all the best nutrition, all the best supplements, all the best steroid.
Vitamin S, yeah.
To look that way, right? So having that critical thinking skill is huge, even for your physical fitness. Yeah. One of the things I want to talk about is how physical discipline leads to mental clarity. And for me, I always think the body obeys the mind, but the mind is strengthened by mastering your body. I think that if you can endure your workouts, first of all, it trains you to be present. I know for myself, and maybe if you're struggling with this during your workouts, is actually staying present in your workouts. It forces you to be able to focus on the task at hand. So it's not only, it's training your focus for physical fitness, it's also training you to be able to focus on other aspects of your life. Whether you know it or not, you're putting your repetitions on training for presence. And that could benefit you in your business life, in your personal life, your relationships, or in your physical life, right? Yeah. It trains you to and forces you to be present. Another thing it does too is it trains you to stay in the fight. I know that for me, when I'm working out and I'm going through those last few sets, it trains. I've set my mind before I do my sets. I go, okay, I'm going to do 10 reps of this weight. Start going through. All of a sudden at 7, it's feeling really heavy. And I keep on going through. I keep on struggling. You ever got to maybe cheat a little bit to do a curl or a press, whatever the case is. It's training you to identify, yes, this is a hard moment, but I can overcome this and I can move forward. And for me, I love physical fitness that way because it has such a overlapping aspect for your entire life. If things are getting hard, you have that confidence in your mind where I've been through these. I put the reps in. I can keep on going through this fight because it will get easier eventually. I just got to keep putting in those reps. And then also, physical fitness, really, at the end of the day, it teaches you how to breathe through discomfort. And that can be applied to every aspect of our lives, right? Whether it's your business, whether it's your relationships. In the gym, it teaches you that suffering is necessary for growth, but you need to have that mental wherewithal to understand that, yes, this suffering in the gym it's solely focused in the gym, but this has applications in my entire life. And once you can start bringing those into other aspects of your life, you'll notice that you can really start gaining in wherever you apply this sort of mantra, right? Excuse me. All right. Now, you always want to bring it back to Stoicism. And the Stoics, they really believe that they train to be capable. And I think that's the way I've led my life as far as my physical goals is. I want to be capable in this world. I see too many times and so many people where they're not even capable of moving around in this world gracefully. They're not. And I talk to my wife all the time about this, and I tell her, if I ever get to the point where I can't walk down a flight of stairs without tripping over and not being able to catch myself, or being able to just jump around and play with my kid, if I can't do those things, I've failed myself and I've failed my family because I'm not at that physical level where I can move through this world easily. And I think that should be the bare minimum for a physical journey, just being capable in your own body. I think way too many people nowadays are not capable in their bodies whatsoever.
No.
And Marcus Aurelius, he believed that your body supports the mind, and it really does, right? If you have a great mind, but a poor body, you can't traverse through this world. You can't, right? If you have great ideas, but you can't act on them, whether it's in a physical capacity or even a mental capacity, you need to work on your body first. You need to make sure that you can actually support that sharp mind. And they both complement each other. They really do, right? Because physical fitness, it reinforces mental discipline and character. I don't care what anybody says. I think that if you can go to the gym on a regular basis, get your workouts in, you will be more disciplined and you will have better character than someone who just never goes to the gym or never puts themselves through that discomfort. And that brings it back to our Stoic virtues, where discipline is a virtue, right? That's one of the Stoic virtues. And your body is your proving ground. And I think you can tell a lot about a person talking about first impressions, you could definitely tell a lot about a person just by their initial impression. If you see them, even before you go up and talk to them, you can tell if they're overweight, if they're and to a certain point, you can really tell, hey, this person has not made the best decisions as far as their physical health. They may be a billionaire, they may have all the women in the world, whatever the case may be, but you can at least tell from that point that they're undisciplined in that aspect of their life. And I think that leads to a lot of poor first impressions if you're not physically fit, at least in shape, or no, not overweight and unkept. And I always like to bring us back to our identity-based habits, Tristan. I think that's really a key aspect for growth, is starting to take these things that we want to become and embodying them and telling yourself that's who you are, right? So with your training, is that you don't train because you should, you train because that's who you are. In the last meeting, but I had to tell myself that for a long time, that I have to go to the gym. It's not that I have to go to the gym, it's because that's who I am. It makes it a lot easier to make that decision moving forward, because it eliminates it. I am that person who goes and does this. It's not a matter of negotiating with yourself. And I think we waste so much time in our life negotiating with ourselves on everything. Should I eat this pizza? Should I eat that salad instead? Should I go to the gym? Should I just sit on the couch and watch Netflix? If you can start to eliminate a lot of those habits, you'll find you free up so much space in your mind to actually do productive work and actually feel clarity in your life. When you start to get rid of those negotiations back and forth with yourself. And for me now, especially with my physical fitness, my business, I've identified this is who I am, this is what I do, and I don't sway from it. So I don't have to wake up in the morning, should I go to the gym today? I don't really feel like it. No, I go to the gym regardless of how I feel, because that's who I am, because I know the benefits that it basically makes down the road. And it really reflects your identity. It does. And you don't miss, and for me, I always tell myself now, I don't miss workouts because men like me don't miss workouts. Now I try and not only do my identity-based habit, but also try and do it more of a broad group of men, where it's like men who are in my situation, who build communities, who provide, they don't miss their workouts. They hit their workouts every single time. So it allows almost like internal accountability, whether it's manufactured or not. I know that men who are in my position, or who are in a position where I want to be, they don't miss their workouts. They go to their workouts all the time. They make their content all the time. So it gives me that little bit of extra motivation to keep moving forward and keep doing what I'm doing. Has there been any fitness issues you've been having lately, or anything that you've been negotiating with yourself on as far as your fitness?
I'm definitely not as passionate as I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to be there 5 days a week or whatever it was, 6 days a week, and I loved it. But then the last few years, I've been a lot more lazy, and I think it's just I don't care. It's like the kind of feeling that I have. It's just, no, I just don't care. But I do care, but I don't care. So it's like this battle between identities of being lazy and being the guy I want to be. And so that's the kind of situation I'm in. Like, I'm inconsistent right now, and I'm not terrible or anything, but I'm not nearly where I want to be either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I don't know what happened, but there's like just something happened. I guess I don't know what it was, but then I just got weak, and now I'm getting out of that again.
Yeah. I think that's a very natural thing for all of us, Tristan. And it could be a litany of things. One of the big things is, as you're getting older, your hormone levels are going to start decreasing as well. So looking at your testosterone, even just being mindful of it, like, we're still young, but it's still starting to decrease. And testosterone is one of the key markers for men, where if you have high testosterone, it makes physical exertion feel, it's triggering you to do those uncomfortable things. They feel good to you. Versus when you don't have high testosterone, all the different systems in your body don't work properly. And the one being that reward system for that physical exertion you're putting in. So that's one thing to keep in mind, as well as you get older, yeah, your testosterone will start to drop, which will make a lot of these things even harder to do, right? I think that's where being cognizant of that, and there's things you can do about that down the road. If you start to identify yourself as a person who works out all the time, you start to build those identity-based habits, it can help carry you through those slumps where you just don't feel like going. You don't feel like yourself. You don't feel strong. You don't feel aggressive, those kind of things. And it'll help you bridge that gap moving forward, so that you can just identify yourself as that guy who works, and you can stay consistent. But I think one thing to look at really is being mindful of your hormones. It could be also your sleep, your stress levels. There's so many there's so many aspects of your life that play into your willpower and your motivation, your discipline. But I've noticed, and I was the same way. Like when I was younger, man, I could work out 7 days a week, 2 hours a day. Loved it. It was great because you had high testosterone. And as you get older, your testosterone starts to decrease, and those things become harder and harder to do. But also, the responsibilities in your life start to increase more as well. Back in the day, I had 7 days a week. I had 2 hours a day to go to the gym, do whatever I want. But now, once you get older, you just have more responsibilities, more expectations on your plate, whether you put them on yourself or just in society or with your family. They start to take a backseat. But I really think that it's very important that you are fit for service. And I want to make that a coined phrase here in the community is being fit for service. If you're not fit for yourself, if you're not clear of mind, if you're not disciplined, you can't help other people in your life. You can to a certain point, but then if your health declines and you can't meet your daily obligations for your family, then you're basically no good for them. So I think that very important to be fit for service for your family. And people might say, oh, that's being selfish, but I think it's the most selfless thing you can do. If you are fit for service, you can now provide for your family, you can provide for your community, and you can provide for yourself. So being fit for service is definitely one to keep in mind. And again, I want to try and make that a bit of a coined phrase in the community moving forward is being fit for service. All right. I want to jump into the weekly challenge. So obviously going to be around physical fitness, but it's more about physical ownership. So what I want us to do is we're going to pick one physical discipline that we've been avoiding, whether it's working out, cold showers, breath work, grounding, anything as far as your physical body that we've been avoiding. I want us to identify that one thing. And I like keeping with this 3-day straight kind of tracking challenge. I've noticed a big thing for me with my non-negotiables last week. I had a huge list of non-negotiables. I hit most of them, but there was a lot of learnings there and you brought it up a few times in the meetings where there's such a level of boredom when you're starting to eliminate things and you're making non-negotiables. It's very easy to want to go back to your old habits. So I think with what I like about these physical disciplines or these physical habits is that when you're eliminating a lot of other bad habits or things that don't add value to your life, if you can put in some sort of a physical habit instead of those old ones, like if you're bored, and you can get in the habit of, okay, if I'm bored, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to walk around the grass barefoot, or I'm going to hop in my cold plunger. I'm going to go to the gym. Whatever the case is, it starts to eliminate that boredom, and you're starting to train your mind where when I have those bouts of boredom, I look towards physical fitness. Because if you're moving around, if you're doing jumping jacks, push-ups, you're running outside, it's very hard to be bored, and it's very hard to be in a low emotional state when you're actually moving your body around. So that's one of the challenges for this week. I want to make sure we pick a physical habit we've been avoiding, stick to it for the next 3 days, track it, post it in the community, and also put in any sort of learnings that we've had doing those 3 days. If there's been any learnings, any challenges, I want us to post them in the community and start getting some value out of that for other community members. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, perfect. All right, I want to finish up with a quote. It says here, your body is a tool, not a trophy. Forge it to serve your purpose, not your ego. Especially when you're younger, you always want to work out to look good and control.
Yeah.
You meet your body, your proving ground is your trophy, right? You should look at it that way. You should forge it to serve a purpose, not just for the ego. All right. That's it for me, Tristan. As always, before I go, I want to open up the floor to you. Do you have any value, any insights that you want to add to the meeting?
Yeah. So as I've been rejecting or eliminating tasks over the last few weeks, some of them were really easy, surprisingly, and I haven't bothered doing them again.
Right.
And some of them were more difficult because they're like my go-to for just, I need something to fill my mind for 5 minutes, or I need that. My brain is saying I need some dopamine, so I'll go scroll through Facebook videos or something.
Yeah.
Some things were really easy though. There's some YouTube channels that I used to watch on a regular basis. I haven't even bothered looking at them in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is. So some things will be easier than others. So just be aware and don't be hard on yourself. Just understand that it'll take some time.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've been feeling lately I guess another thing, which could be a good topic for one of these calls, is your intuition and listening to your intuition, exercising intuition as well, because I think intuition has been taken away from us.
Yeah.
Well, like, when's the last time you learned intuition in school? You don't, right?
No, you don't.
The parents don't have it. No one has it really. Like when we think of intuition, we think of woo, bull things, but yeah, but when you actually look throughout history, like real history, old cultures had intuition and spirituality and things like that. And I think it's part of our lives, but it's been purposely taken away from us. Anyway,
Yeah.
I've been feeling my intuition has been telling me I need to do some kind of like more extreme dopamine detox of like really like not using the computer for a while or really restricting it and like really just being in silence. I think that's what I've been feeling. Like I just need silence.
Mm.
I need some time just to be with my thoughts and just be silent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to practice that this week. I have noise canceling headphones, and there are certain times during the day where I can get silence for sure. So like just really spend 30 minutes laying on the floor with headphones on in silence and just
Yeah.
seeing what happens, or even an hour. I don't know. So just that's way out of my comfort zone too. Do that, see how I feel. And I don't know if other people out there feel like listen to your intuition, go with it, and experiment and try being silent. See if you can be silent. I think most people need background noise. They put on music or something, but silence and quiet and closing your eye is really powerful. And a lot of people can't even do that.
Yeah.
Try
No,
that too.
yeah. I think that's great information for sure. Intuition, gut feeling, pretty much all the same thing, right? It's listening to yourself. And people, we've had that was basically ingrained in us for the longest time as far as our fight or flight, right? You have a gut feeling something's not right here. It's meant to protect you. You know, there's a reason for that. Whether it's you call it intuition, your gut feeling, absolutely, that's something to look after. And
Yeah.
you talk about doing more extreme dopamine detox. Have you looked at like a 24-hour dopamine detox? Like you should look into it because it breaks it down as far as like when you wake up in the morning, it's your phone's away. You wake up on your own accord and you basically have a piece of paper with that you can journal on if you want to journal your thoughts, but it's 24 hours of just absolutely nothing. No inputs as far as dopamine, your phone, your food, like you do a fast while you do this as well. And I've done it in the past and it was very difficult at the beginning, but as I started to go through it, probably around like the 8-hour mark, I started to calm down. I'm trying to be in silence. You're trying to silence those thoughts in your mind. Like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this detox properly? And you just start to calm your thoughts down, start to calm that inner critic down. And by the end of it, the next day I woke up feeling like I was 10 years younger. And it's because, and I slowly went back into those quick dopamine things as I went down the road. But it really showed me that I can sit with my thoughts for 24 hours. Now, I wasn't awake the entire time, but it's like I can sit with my thoughts on a regular basis, be okay with it. I can calm my mind. And what came from it was a lot more clarity on what I wanted in my life. And it was, whether you believe in this or not, it was very spiritual.
Yes.
I can
That's
just,
what I've been feeling.
yeah, I can sit here with my thoughts, think about nature, think about life, whatever the case may be. And it really grounded me in the present so that when I moved back into our busy life with all these different distractions, they had less of an effect on me. And I like that you're going through this dopamine detox. And it's tough for me in my life right now, but I think I'm going to schedule out some time on a weekend to just do that for that 24 hours again. It definitely really is helpful. I think I might add something like that into the community as well for guys to try. Maybe not 24 hours, or 8 hours, whatever the case may be. Something to dip their toes into it, get used to that uncomfortable silence, and then upgrade to a 24-hour, whatever the case may be. Yeah. All right, man. That's about it for us. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.